Morning.
Good morning.
In late July of last year, where were you living?
On 104th Street,
And what street?
Maine.
And were you living in an apartment?
Yeah,
And were you living with your mom?
yes,
Was there someone who used to come over and visit your mother during that time?
yes.
Who was that?
The defendant.
Do you see the defendant in the courtroom?
Yes.
Can you tell us where he's sitting and what he's wearing?
A white shirt.
And where is he sitting?
Next to the attorney.
I want to talk to you on things that happened last night of July 22nd of last year. Do you remember that night?
Yes,
Where were you that Did you go to sleep that night?
yes.
Where did you go to sleep?
In my room.
Did you share your room with anyone?
Yeah,
Who do you share it with?
my little sister.
On that night, did something wake you up?
Yes,
What woke you up?
the defendant.
How did he wake you up?
When he came up in my room.
When he came into your room, was it just him coming in that woke you up, or were you awakened by something else?
Awakened by something else.
And what was that?
When the defendant molested me.
All right, we're going to need you to tell us what happened in detail, okay? So what was the first thing that woke you up?
When he came into my room.
And what happened when he first came into your room?
He came in and he laid down on me.
And were you underneath your blanket?
Yes.
What did you have on?
A gown.
And when you go to sleep, do you wear underwear?
Yes.
You had on panties?
Yes.
What did the defendant have on?
Boxers?
Did he have anything else on?
No.
When he laid down, what did he do?
He lifted up my pajamas.
What did you do?
I tried to get him off of me.
What happened after you tried to get him off of you?
He wouldn't let me go.
And what was he doing to stop you from going?
He was pushing me down.
And after he had pushed you down, did he do anything else?
Yes.
What did he do?
He started touching on me,
And where did he touch you?
on my private part.
Now, when you make reference to your private part, what part is that? Can you point and show? Show the jury. Can you just come stand right here by me? Okay. Can you show the jury what you call your private part?
This.
Your Honor, she's pointing between her legs to the vaginal area. Okay, have a seat. Now, when he touched you on your private part, what was he touching you with?
His hands.
And was this over your clothing or under your clothing?
Under my clothing.
And how was he touching you? What was he doing?
He was rubbing.
And did it hurt?
Yeah.
What were you doing as he was doing this to you?
I was crying, trying to push him off.
What else? Did he do anything else?
Yeah.
What was that?
He touched me up here.
Your Honor, indicating the chest area where the breasts would be. And was that over your clothing or under your clothing?
Under.
And what did he touch you with?
His hands.
Did he do anything else?
Yes.
Can you tell us what that was?
He licked me all up here.
In the chest area again.
Uh-huh.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
When he was licking you, where were his hands?
Trying to hold me down so I wouldn't get up.
Were you trying to get up?
Yeah.
And what else happened?
He touched me on my bottom part.
And when you say your bottom part, is that the same private part or something else?
Something else.
What is your bottom part?
My butt,
What did he touch your butt with?
his hands.
And what was he doing as he touched your butt?
And then he was trying to hold me down, and then he left the room.
He left the room?
Yeah.
Now, before he left the room, did he do anything else to you?
Yes, he told me if I tell anyone, he's gonna kill me.
And before he told you that, did you see any part of his body?
Yes,
What part did you see?
his private part.
And is it the same private part you have, or is it different?
It's different.
Is it in the same place as your private part?
Yes.
And when you saw his private part, how did you see it? What was he doing with it?
He was rubbing it.
What was he rubbing it with?
His hands.
And where were his boxers?
They were down.
How long did that last?
A few minutes.
When he was rubbing his private part with his hand, did he do anything else with it?
No, he left the room.
Now, did he come back to that room that night?
No.
Was he saying anything to you?
No, he only told me one thing, that he'll kill me.
When he told you that he would kill you, how did you feel?
Sad.
And did his telling you that make you not want to tell?
Yes.
Did you try to tell?
Yes.
When did you try to tell?
After the night before I was going to school.
What happened?
I tried to fake like I was going to get my lunch ticket so I could go in there and tell my mom.
And what happened? You went to your mother's bedroom door?
Yes.
And then what happened?
The defendant wouldn't let me in.
So you knocked on the door?
Yes.
And the defendant, did he open the door or talk to you through it?
He opened it.
And what did he say to you?
He said, "Go away."
And what did you do?
I kept on knocking.
And then what happened?
And then when, and then, and then when, then the next day then my mom came. When she came back, she found the defendant.
No. Okay, wait. Let's back up. I'm going to take you step by step, okay? Did you ever get your lunch ticket?
Yes.
How did you get it?
I got it before. I was faking so I can go tell my mom.
Did he ever give you your lunch ticket?
No, my mom usually gave me my lunch ticket.
And do you usually go into your room to get your lunch ticket?
No, it'd be on the table.
Is that where in the living room or the dining room?
In the living room.
That night, excuse me, that morning, did you get a chance to talk to your mom?
No.
Did you go off to school?
Yes.
Now, before you went to school, had you talked to your sisters?
No.
Were your sisters awake?
No.
When you got to school, did you talk to anybody about what happened the night before?
No.
Why not?
Because I was scared
What were you scared of?
that the defendant was going to kill me.
After he did that in your room the night before, did you still talk to him?
No, I stopped talking to him
Why did you stop talking to him?
because I was scared.
Did he ever, do you remember talking to the police?
Yes.
And do you remember telling the police that he did something with his private part?
Yeah.
Was that night?
No.
When was that?
When my mom was gone to my grandpa's house,
Now, when you came home from school the next day, who was home?
my mom
Was there anyone else at home?
and the defendant,
Were any of your sisters home?
my little sister,
Where was she?
up in her bed sleeping.
And when you came home from school, did you talk to your mom?
No.
And why not?
Because she was about to leave and go to my grandpa's house.
And after, did your mother, then did she leave?
Yes.
And the defendant was still there.
Yes.
Did you speak to the defendant then?
No, I wasn't talking to him.
Then what did you do?
I was about to go outside.
And did you leave the apartment?
No.
Where did you go?
In the back. I didn't go outside because I couldn't.
So while you were inside, did you ever go to any particular room?
Yes, to the bathroom.
And when you went into the bathroom, did you shut the door?
Yes.
Is there a lock on the door?
Yes.
Did you lock the door?
No.
Do you ever lock the door?
No.
And when you go into the bathroom, what did you do?
I was using the restroom.
You were on the toilet?
Uh-huh.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And while you were in there, did something happen?
Yes.
What happened?
The defendant came in.
Okay. And is that when the defendant came in, were you sitting on the toilet?
Yes.
And what happened when he came in?
He pushed me down.
Did he say anything to you first?
No, he just pushed me.
Okay. And as he pushed you, what were you doing?
I was trying to pull up my pants and go out.
And when he pushed you down, where did he push you to?
The floor.
And were you holding on to anything as he pushed you down? Do you remember?
Yes.
What were you holding on to?
The sink.
Now, as you were holding on to that, obviously he got you down to the floor. Then what happened?
He got on top of me.
And what did he do once he got on top of you?
Pull down his pants.
And your panties were where?
Up, but he pulled them down. I was trying to pull them back up.
What did he do?
He started licking me.
Where did he lick you?
Up here and down here.
The chest area. As you said, down here, and you're pointing to what?
My private part.
And what were you doing as he was doing this?
Pushing him off.
How did you feel?
Sad.
And why did you feel sad?
Because that I didn't like what he was doing to me.
Before he did this to you, did you trust him?
Yes.
Were you crying this time also?
Yes.
And how did that feel?
Not so good.
And how long did this last?
A few minutes.
Now, this might be too hard a question, but if you can answer it, answer it. Do you know how long the defendant was touching and licking your private parts?
No.
Now, while you were there on the floor with the defendant touching and licking you, did you hear anything?
Yes.
What did you hear?
My mom coming.
What was it that you heard?
When she opened the door.
What door are you referring to?
The front door.
When you heard this sound, what happened?
The defendant ran out of the bathroom.
When he knocked you to the floor off the toilet, did you get hurt at all?
Yes.
What part of you?
My leg.
Any other part of your body, if you remember?
No.
Did you know that the defendant had been accused of this before?
No.
If you would have known, would you have felt comfortable with him staying over with your mom?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay?
Yes.
And if you don't understand, just tell me you don't understand, okay?
Yes.
Now, you don't like the defendant, do you?
No.
And you didn't like the fact that the defendant stayed with your mother in the apartment, isn't that correct?
He didn't stay with us.
But when he did stay, you didn't like the fact that he was staying there, isn't that right?
Yes.
After all that had happened, did you begin to act different around the defendant?
Yes, I stopped talking to him.
But didn't you stop talking to him before that night because you already disliked him?
No, I stopped talking to him after that night.
Now, do you remember going and being interviewed by the detective?
Yes.
Let's go back to that part. Remember about the bathroom part?
Yes.
At some point in time, did you ever go out of the bathroom and make a phone call?
No.
Did you ever tell the detective that you told the defendant that you're going to call a friend and then you went to the kitchen and called your grandmother? Do you remember? Do you remember telling the detective that when you called your mother over the telephone that you told your mother that the defendant was touching you?
I don't remember.
You okay? You want to take a break? All right, let's go back to not the day of the bathroom, but the night in the bedroom. Do you remember that night? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Now, you said the defendant came into your bedroom
Yes.
and that he got on top of you while you were in bed
Yes.
and that he touched your breast area
Yes.
and that he licked your breast area
Yes.
and that he touched your private part?
Yes.
You remember that, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you remember telling the detective that the defendant licked your private part? Do you remember that?
No.
Do you remember telling the detective that you said to the defendant to get out after he tried to lick your private part and he left the bedroom? Do you remember saying that?
No.
Now, in the morning when you went to school, what time did you go to school?
7:30?
And normally, or let's go back to that day. Do you recall where was your lunch ticket that day? Do you remember?
On the table?
And the table, was that in the living room?
Yes.
Now, after that night, going back to the night when the defendant came into your bedroom, the next morning, did you tell anybody what had happened?
No.
And why didn't you tell anybody?
Because I was scared.
And when you went to school, did you try to tell anybody at school?
No.
And why was that?
Because I was afraid.
Are you okay? Now, when you come home that afternoon, you saw your mother, is that right?
Yes.
Did you tell your mother what had happened?
No, because she was leaving.
But you saw her, isn't that right?
Yes.
Okay. How close did you get to your mom?
Not that close.
Well, how close?
A little bit.
Well, in terms of how far away as you are right now from your mom?
Yes.
I have nothing further.
Do you have anything further?
Yes, Your Honor. You just told the other attorney that you didn't like the defendant staying at your apartment when he would stay over, right?
Yes.
Why didn't you like him? Why didn't you like him?
Because I didn't know him that very well.
Did you ever tell your mother how you felt about the defendant?
No.
Do you know if your mom knew that the defendant was accused of this before?
No.
Now, have you spoken to a lot of different people about what happened to you with the defendant?
Yes.
And when you talked about it with different people, did you like talking about it?
No.
When different people, different police officers and different attorneys were asking you questions, how did you feel?
Sad.
Did you ever feel that this was your fault?
Yes.
Did you feel that you did enough to stop him from doing this to you?
Yes.
Did you feel that you did everything that you could do?
Yes.
Why did you feel like it was your fault?
Because I didn't tell nobody.
And if you had told somebody the first time, what do you think would have happened? Would it have happened again?
No.
Is that why you think it's your fault?
Yes.
It's not your fault. No further questions, Your Honor.